Well, welcome to our classrooms of the future. What we've set up here for you today is a simulated demo of what we believe the classroom of the future is going to be. And we'll hit on those other point thingies in the paper and the guidelines too. So our classrooms of the future. Classrooms of the future are going to look more like what we experienced this morning with the virtual reality. We're going to pull in technology that allows the student to go to places they couldn't go in a traditional classroom. We're going to immerse them in the content like never before, using some technology that currently exists. So this is what the physical classroom is really going to look like. A virtual reality area, and we're going to use the virtual reality to go visit the Roman Colosseum, the Colosseum, and using computer graphics, using the imagery that's available to us, we're going to paint a picture, and now we're going to be transported back to the Colosseum circa 70, 80 A.D. The students will experience this. They will be able to go to Rome through the virtual reality, see the Colosseum ruins, and have it transformed in front of them and experience the Colosseum as it was after it was originally built. We're also going to use a heads-up display. It's going to pull in just different information. The information can be called in on demand. Hey, I have a question about this, and boom. It comes in using a heads-up display. It tells you where you're at, when it was built, how long it took to be built, all sorts of different information that's already out there is brought in to the student experience.
We're sorry, by the way, this is K-12 education.
Yes. Good point, thank you. We go inside the Colosseum. This is what the Colosseum looks like right now. Right? And then using that virtual reality, we're transported back to the battles, back to the entertainment, the shows they called it back then. It draws in. It gives you the feel of being there. Using nanotechnology, we can program in to actually build with these little nanites, devices, implements, artifacts from the time that can actually be held while they're in the virtual world. Can experience that. Now, I don't know if we'd want to experience shields and swords at the K-12 arena, but the simulation was effective. It could be cooking implements. It could be art. It could be statues. We could generate anything using nanotechnology. One of the great things about using virtual reality is you can decide where you want to go as a class. So as a class, grab your devices. If you have texting, you're available to text. I encourage you to pick where we want to go visit next. To do that, just text one of these codes to the number in the blue box down here. Go ahead. Check it out. Try it. Yeah, they do. So that's what I say. If you want to, if you feel you're able to, go right ahead. But and this is using what's called Poll Everywhere. It's an online application, but it's a simulation of how they could virtually decide where it is they want to visit. And of course, this is something that could be used for like geography classes or history classes. There's so many other applications for virtual reality and using CGI or computer graphic imagery and heads-ups and nanotechnology. All right, so getting the responses come in. Oh wait, wrong computer. I'm gonna go over to this computer.
The text.
Yes.
Dial the number at the bottom, and then it's going to tell me.
So go to your texting, and when where it says 2, put this number in. You're going to text 2. Then the message you want to text is one of these codes.
Now, why would I want to do that?
Well, this is just a simulation of being able to virtually select things, but this is going to tell me, this simulation will tell me which of these 3 cities at the bottom you would want to, one of these 3 locations, not cities, sorry, that you would want to visit.
So basically, you're getting class participation from the students about where,
Oh, I see.
yeah,
where they want to go.
about where, yeah.
So today we can visit these 3.
Right, and sorry, this is not.
So students can electronically change the learning environment.
Mm-hmm.
But would they all have the same curriculum?
Yes, for that day. We would either visit Japan, Mexico, or Italy, and they can pick which one we're going to go to that day by vote, whatever gets the most votes.
So as previously discussed, we believe that teachers are still an integral part of this process because the teacher is that tour guide. We're just allowing the students to pick through a democratic process which of these 3 places we go. We're not going to have students off in 3 different locations. We'll all go there together still. And there's,
If you click on those votes,
I can't. The screen displayed on here is different than on the laptop I'm controlling with. So this slide is actually brought in from, it's internet, it's brought in from PlayEverywhere.com, and this setup here in our classroom is not letting me switch screens within the program to see what our results are. So there's always a plan B when you do have issues with technology, as does happen. We've all experienced that, I'm sure. So by a show of hands, where would you like to, how many people would like to visit Japan? How many people would like to visit Mexico? Italy. All right, Italy wins. My next one is how many people don't care. All right. So now as our simulation loads, we're in our holographic classroom here, and our demonstration is we brought in movies to simulate actually going there. All right, well, and my movie is playing, but it's not displaying. Really, there is a movie playing to simulate your experience in Italy.
Oh, John, did you click on the thing?
You have both the screens up?
Yeah.
Well, so that's a demonstration of the classroom of the future. We really see that using a lot of technology that already exists and bringing them together, as we heard about in the demonstration we had here this morning at Harrisburg University, there's a lot of different components, different technologies but drawing them together to figure out how to use them in the future is what we're looking at here. Virtual reality combined with information from heads-up displays, combined with nanotechnology to give that experiential hands-on feeling, combined with computer graphics and imagery brought in to enhance the process.
So the point of view that we're coming from is that this will be a positive experience in the future, not a negative experience using this technology. Sustainability, we were looking at the We All Learn model and bringing technology into the world, into the classroom, and basically getting everybody exposed to the technology. Are there going to be challenges to getting everybody this technology? Of course. So we need to look at ways that we can get everybody this technology. How does this fit into the current reality and archetypes? This technology does already exist, so we wouldn't have to make technology from scratch. That's helpful. Again, we're trying to bring this to the entire world, classrooms all around us, is the goal. One thing that we are going to have to look at, of course, is the traditional school structure and how we're going to fit this technology into the traditional school structure or break down the mental models that currently exist. Because how many school districts are going to want to either allow this technology to come into play, because it's vastly different than what we currently do, or just be open to it, you know? And of course, the expense of the technology. It's going to be very expensive. So where are you going to find the funds for this technology? Is it going to come from grants? Is it going to come from loans? Are you going to seek out money from Google, private companies, Apple, Google, Yahoo, things like that? There are inventors out there right now on different websites who are showing this technology off, but they don't have the money for it currently. Is there some way you could partner with them and get this technology into your school as kind of a test model that they're benefiting from it and you're benefiting from it, and that's how they start off their company, but yet you benefit from it at the same time? Kind of creating those partnerships to get this technology out there. And I think I'm hitting the button as I talk. So those are two of the things that you're really going to have to look at. Again, shifts that are going to be needed. Thoughts on budgeting. How are you going to do that, which I talked about? Is it going to be private companies, grants, getting some loans somehow, fundraising? Really going to have to think about that because you know this technology isn't cheap. I mean, they touched it this morning. Think about that technology. We were down there. We were in that virtue sphere. You know that's expensive. One of the things, what was he saying? It was how much for that one component? Like, yeah, $35,000 just for like the one component. I mean, so it's not going to be a cheap piece of technology. You're going to have to look at structure of content. How are you going to structure your curriculum? What content are you going to cover? How are you going to use this? You're going to have to be very careful. Instructional techniques. Your staff is obviously going to have to be trained on this technology. There's another expense to consider. Students are going to have to be trained on this technology. I'm sure at this point there are some students that could probably train staff in this technology, but those are just some of the things that you're really going to have to look at and that schools are going to have to shift their mental models on. They're really just going to have to start to figure out, wow, we are moving towards a more technological future. How are we going to deal with this? So I think it would be kind of a shock because from what I'm seeing right now, I'm not seeing much technology being used in schools. I mean, I see the laptops being brought out of the laptop cart. I see the occasional e-readers being used, you know, the occasional tablets and things like that, but nothing on a grand scale. The most I've seen is the, what's that called, the big, that shows the universe on it. The most that I've seen that was a large-scale technology thing is one of the schools I was at has a planetarium. And that's like the biggest technology piece that I've seen being used in a school in the central Pennsylvania area at the present time. So I think it's something that people are really going to have to wrap their minds around.
The plans for getting there, Jolene basically kind of touched on these things, and also including people that are, or business ventures, like we did the Virtuosphere downstairs. They go out and kind of showcase the new technology to different businesses, schools, to achieve different things. So basically, this is the whole plan: getting government fundraising, private grants, and I think that also links to the business and higher education, because if you can sell it, you can be able to get those private grants to implement the different technologies. Leadership capabilities required: identifying qualified resources, strong change in management and project management. Basically, getting someone that has experience in being a project manager, someone that has the vision, someone that is a good leader, that can help, train people on implementing the change or the technology inside the classroom. And basically, learning is the environment. The environment is learning. So if students are using this technology when they go out into the workforce or wherever they go, they're able to bring those experiences with them. And also, like Jolene said, some of the students know more about technology than we do. This is what they grew up with. So you have 5-year-old kids who know how to record videos on cell phones. So this is definitely going to be something that, this is definitely a part of their environment, and this is how they learn, and this is what they're learning with.
Yeah, when we say learning is the environment and the environment is the learning, because when you're studying history now, you're opening a textbook and you're reading about it. So, going by Lewin's experiential learning, we're going to get a lot more out of the virtual reality and visiting these places and experiencing what happened, or experiencing the local cultures, seeing it, walking around it, touching some of it. We'll get so much more out of that type of learning within that environment than we will in the classroom with a textbook.
So basically, it's not just concepts. You're not just sitting there reading a book. It's also tangible things, actually getting the experience, actually, like with the Roman Empire, you're actually there. So, because it's one thing to read about something, and it's something totally different to experience it. So that's kind of where that's coming